Kathleen and I did the seminar. We started the Seminar Playbook a couple weeks ago. We went through steps 1 through 3, choosing the topic, planning the event, and kind of producing an outline for the seminar and how you're going to, set that up and things like that, and inviting people. So I went through how to set up like an email campaign in Command and how to send out like an email invite that way. I also mentioned creating an Eventbrite for the event as well. That's a great idea just in terms of it's also public, so it's searchable on Google. So if you create an event and people are searching for first-time homebuyer seminars, your Eventbrite will hopefully pop up in that. So it's a great way to track registrations and really prep for the actual seminar. So I'm going to dive right in and I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to pull up that playbook again. All right, so we're on step number 4, promoting the event. And today we're going to specifically talking about creating marketing materials, specifically, what marketing materials can you create? What avenues and channels are you going to promote the event? So it's, it says right here, the more marketing you do, the more turnout you'll have. So it's really important to not just send one email out to your database. You want to send multiple emails. You want to post on social media. You want to have the event sign up on your website. You want to have printed materials. So, whether it's a flyer that you have printed out and you're going around local coffee shops and you're posting that on bulletin boards, or just, maybe it's the gym or the library or something along the lines that you can, they have those community bulletin boards that you can go in and post, flyers and things like that. So your marketing materials should have, of course, the key details, your topic, your date and time, and your location. So it says right here, you've got, some 5 easy ways that you can promote the event. So whether you have a personal or a business social media page, you want to post that on both. You can add it to your database newsletter. I know we talked about sending a specific email to your database about the event, but maybe you do a monthly newsletter or a biweekly newsletter. Definitely put it in that newsletter as well, with that link to the registration to that Eventbrite. You can also run paid social media ads. So you can run paid Facebook and Instagram ads through Command. So I know a lot of trainings that we've done in the past have been specifically about promoting a listing or an open house, but you can run the same sort of ad, but you're promoting the event instead. So if you have an image created about the event, and then you can also have that ad linking to the registration form. Dropping flyers off at audience appropriate locations. And so they give an example of apartment complexes or senior community centers. So of course, that's also, if you're doing a seminar geared towards senior citizens or anything like that, then, obviously promoting the event with local senior community centers is important. And you can even go old school. You can run ads in newspapers and community newsletters. And so that's also an option. The other thing too that I thought of is there's a ton of different like Facebook communities out there, whether it's like a buy, sell, trade like community, like Facebook group, or I know there's a lot of Facebook groups for like North Shore Moms or like anything like that. There's a ton of Facebook groups. There's a ton of specific community groups out there too. So if you're part of any of those, you could also promote the event on those Facebook groups. So I wanted to really open up the floor to, if anyone on here has done any seminars or any events like this, Are there any materials that you guys have created that have been successful, or any other ideas that, I didn't mention or are not listed in these five different ways? And I know I do have Emily Pyatt on here. So Emily, I don't know if you want to just introduce yourself and kind of talk about some of the things that you and your team have been doing.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Emily. I work with Thrive Realty Group. We're out of the North Shore office, and we host monthly wealth building workshops. Majority of my team lives in Bayview, so we actually host them at Wheel & Sprocket, which is a fun location to do them. They're kind of a passion project. Our team's a little bit nerdy about personal finance, so it's really fun to connect with current, future, past clients. But really, the whole idea is that we are partnering with lender, inspector, appraiser, etc., people we work with every day to provide free education to our past and hopefully future clients. We're averaging 25 to 30 attendees each month. We've just started in January, so we're about to do our fourth one. And we're doing a lot of marketing, exactly what Lindsey was saying in the playbook. It's pretty basic. When she asked me to do this, I was like, we're not doing anything like groundbreaking, but I did kind of write out a list of stuff we're doing. We started with sending a postcard, kind of describing this whole series to our entire database. And then we did some local targeting too, because we're hosting them at Wheel & Sprocket, and in Command, you can kind of target your who you're sending to. So we did residential areas right around where we're presenting. We did post flyers around town at local coffee shops and stuff like that. We made a flyer at the beginning of the whole series. We planned out all 12 workshops in the beginning, so then we're kind of going through each one. And then we do paid ads on social media every month on Facebook and Instagram. And it's so exciting whenever someone comes and I say, oh, how did you hear about the event? And they say a Facebook ad. It works. People are coming, new people that we've never met before are coming and joining from Facebook ads, which is very cool to see. We do have our registration link. We have an Eventbrite. We have our registration link on our website, and it's always in our link tree in our Instagram bio. If any of you use a link tree, it's always good to just, if you have something ongoing, or it doesn't have to be the only one there, but ours always lives there. And then we do post the registration link in our monthly email newsletter. It does also get exposure on Eventbrite. Sometimes I just kind of go in a back way and look at, like a different computer or something, and just Google or look for wealth building or real estate advice in my neighborhood. And I'm finding our events, which is pretty cool that Eventbrite kind of does that for you. We also kind of, maybe more basic, we're just texting our friends or clients. Like if there's a topic that we're talking about where I know specifically, hey, this past client is really interested in this, or I think they'll like this. We're not texting our whole database every time, but we're at least reminding the people who have come, like, hey, thanks for coming last time. Here's the next one. Or, hey, I think you specifically would be interested in this one. Why don't you join us? All of them are free, by the way, because we partner with a sponsor. So it's nice to kind of offer that to our clients too. They don't have to pay anything to get there. And then whoever we're partnering with each month, we're making a flyer for them. So I'm creating a flyer for our sponsors, and they can hand those out to their people as well. Then I'm also creating for them social media collateral. I just use Canva. It's all pretty basic and simple, but I'm sending them stuff that they can post and share. I make it easy for them. And then, we're kind of bringing our people together, and we get to meet their sphere and they get to meet our sphere. So it works out really well.
That's awesome, Emily. So one question for you. So when you first started this in January, how many attendees did you have?
The first one, it was snowy, so I think the weather played a little bit of a part in that. But I think we ended up with like maybe 15 to 20 at the first one, and then we've just grown since then, which is pretty cool. So it is a lot of our past clients. I was saying this to Lindsey earlier. Ideally, it was going to be like all brand new people, first time home buyers, and we were going to lead gen from these. That's not really what it's turned out to be. It's more just, like I said at the beginning, providing value to our current clients. But we've even seen them then say, like, our past clients who already own a home are probably not going to buy in the next year or two or sell in the next year or two, but they're bringing their friends of, hey, I attended this workshop last month. I think you'll like it. So then we're getting to lead gen a little bit that way, and sort of get referrals through there. So.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I love the consistency that you have in your approach to these. The fact that you've planned out 12, it's once a month, right?
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
You've planned out 12 months worth of, topics, and then you have all of that time to promote it. And on your Eventbrite, and actually I'm going to share my screen and actually show you guys what their Eventbrite looks like. But this is what the Eventbrite looks like for Thrive Realty Group and their wealth building workshops. But I love the fact that, if someone can't make the April workshop, they can sign up for May or June or any other month this year. So Emily, have you seen anybody sign up for, like, maybe not the most recent, like the next one, but maybe like a couple months down the road, or anything like that?
Yeah, we've actually started promoting at an event to whoever's there, like, hey, here's what we have going on the next 2 months. And sometimes, the next topic is not everybody comes every time, right? If we do a first time home buyer panel, people who own homes are probably not going to come, but they're interested in the investing workshop that we have in June. So maybe they won't register for April or May, but they'll register for June. And we are seeing people kind of do it ahead. It's not too far in advance, but you get down to, 2 weeks out and you start seeing more and more trickle in. But every once in a while, I do get someone recently signed up for one in, I think, July. So they're excited for that one. But
Great. No, I love that. And I love that, you have the topics for each one of them on here. So people can kind of plan out and say, like, maybe a couple of these topics are something I'm really interested in, or maybe they know somebody who's, looking at a specific topic that they would be more so interested in. So I love that. And I love that you said, like, you're specifically sending some of these to certain clients where you think, they're going to be interested in that particular topic. So that's great. Besides people showing up from, like, Facebook ad campaigns, are you tracking, like, the source besides, past clients and things like that, but anyone new, like, are you tracking, like, where they found, like, the workshop?
yes, we do have trackable links through Bitly. So I have, like, when we do a paid ad, it's a trackable link there, so I can see if someone's registering from that link or not. But we also have a sign-in sheet when people get there, because a lot of times people register but actually don't show up. There is a benefit to that. I still get their contact info and they're added to our database and they start getting our monthly newsletters. But when they do show up too, one member of our team is usually posted up at the sign-in table. And so then we're always asking to, if we don't know them or recognize them at the event, and then they'll say, like, I bought a house with Abby last year, or I saw it on Facebook, or I saw your flyer at the coffee shop or something. So we are getting a lot of that too. But the trackable links are super helpful. I know it's a couple extra steps, but it does seem to, it helps us know what's working and where we can focus on more.
That's great. Yeah, no, that's such a good idea. And Bitly, that's a free service too, right, Emily?
Yes. Yeah. And through Bitly, you can generate all of your QR codes for free. It's super easy. You can make your links customizable. So instead of having a bunch of random numbers and letters, like they say, Thrive workshops or something. So Bitly, highly recommend for link tracking.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a great idea. All right. No, that's such good information, Emily. Thank you. So, and I was just curious, is anyone else on here, have you done a seminar? And, like, is there any other, like, what has worked for you? Any marketing materials that you've created that you found helpful? Does anyone want to share any other ideas too, even if you haven't created anything or done anything, but just anything that maybe, like, we haven't mentioned? Yeah, Jay.
So we are doing I thought of it a long time ago. We're members of St. Matthias Parish on 92nd and Beloit, and we attend mass all the time. There's many, many, many seniors there. So I thought about holding a seminar for them, just for seniors preparing your home or whatever the case may be. And Lisa called the priest and he said, "This is crazy." He says, "I was just thinking about this." And parish members, they have a accountant, they have an attorney, and it's all set for May 2nd, where we're gonna have a audience in the church basement of all these potential people. But what we're talking about here, I'm taking a ton of notes. This will be the first one, but I'm thinking, why not do this citywide? I mean, we can find people that have been in their homes for 20 plus years or 25 plus years. Plus, my database is all people, not all, I shouldn't say that, but a lot of people in their 60s who have their parents that are in their 80s, or even the younger people, grandparents. I could hold a seminar getting ready for your mom and dad's home or your grandparents' home or things like that, and maybe have the grandchildren come or just the kids come and bring their parents or grandparents or something like that. So I was initially thinking, I'd have to do this all on paper. But then as I thought about it, if we can reach the younger folks, then we can utilize all these invitations and Facebook ads and all these different things. And one of the things, my mom and dad both passed away in 2020, but my dad was a senior bowler and we used to go to watch the seniors bowl, and what a great crowd. I mean, you can walk up and down and talk to everybody in their 70s and 80s. They love to talk. They love free things. And if I put out orange juice and donuts for them a couple of times and then put these flyers out there, I could just do it just for, after bowling, I could do it for a crew too. And they trust you most of the time. They trust you. So this is like, it can explode into something huge.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
And Emily too, is there anything that you provide like at the workshop? What do you provide for the people who attend? Do you provide food and drink? Do you provide certain materials to have available?
Yeah. So at the venue that we're hosting at, there is a cafe upstairs. We don't provide drink tickets or anything. We do if we, have one time we did a panel. So anyone who's kind of on our side of the presenting side, we gave them tickets. But we do encourage, we have half an hour before the event starts for networking. So we encourage people to come early and grab a drink. It's kind of fun. We all end up sitting down there with a beer and talking about investing. It's pretty cool. But they get their own drinks, but then they come downstairs, and because we partner with a sponsor, we do have snacks every time. I just go to Costco the day that we're presenting. I get a spread, set it up. It's easy, and it's 5:30 to 7, so it's kind of dinner time. So people do love the snacks. And then we have a table for our sponsors to set up too, and they'll oftentimes bring like marketing material or swag,
Sure.
giveaways, fun things there. So we kind of rely on our sponsors for that. But then depending on the topic, sometimes it's been helpful to print out the slide deck that we're presenting so they can take notes, or have a flyer that summarizes a lot of what we're talking about so they have something to take away too. People love to take stuff, even if it's a flyer or more information. Not everybody wants to stay around and ask questions. So if you have anything to give them outside of like food, snacks, stuff like that, we have found it helpful. People often do circle back up, at least with the sponsor or the presenter, with more questions. So it's always nice to have something for them to take home.
Yeah,
That's
and
great.
we're just going over right now. We're going to have the flyer that Carly and Lisa are working on it as I speak, but it's going to give them a paper. And I said, make it big in case they can't see or have a hard time seeing. And yes, I would like a phone call. Yes, I would like to schedule a market analysis for my home or welcome you to my home. And then I said, some people still have fax machines at home with landlines. I said, put our fax. I have an e-fax. I said, put our e-fax on there. We're going to give them each a stamped envelope, a return envelope, in case they don't want to make a decision immediately. They can stick it in the envelope and mail it from home, or still put it in the mailbox for the mail person to take with them. But we're going to either have little cousins mini sandwiches and coffee, or some coffee cake or something for everybody. There's 3 people speaking and we each get 30 minutes. So we're working on our presentation right now, and it's May 2nd. So we're pretty excited to see how this turns out.
Nice. Yeah, no, I love that idea of the mailing something and then having that return envelope and with the stamp and everything ready to go so that it's as easy as possible for them to complete. The other thing too is I would say anytime you're doing printed materials, whether it's a flyer and you're, hanging that up at the local coffee shop, I would make sure to have a QR code on there. I know some older people may not understand what a QR code is, but I think a lot of younger people are it's just an easier way for someone to scan the QR code and then take them to, whether it's your website or your registration link, the Eventbrite link, and then be able to sign up. Otherwise you could have, the exact URL on that flyer. But it's just a little bit easier for people to just take their phone out, scan the QR code, and then it directs them right to that registration link. And there's a ton of different free online QR code generators. I know you can do it in Canva as well if you're designing your marketing materials in Canva. So that's just a quick little tidbit and suggestion for any printed materials. Emily, I was also going to ask, do you guys promote the event on any specific Facebook groups? Because I've heard of a lot of agents who really utilize those Facebook community groups, whether it's a specific neighborhood or more of a general area around Milwaukee, to really get acclimated with maybe posting certain things or tidbits. So I was just curious if you utilize those at all.
That's a good question. We want to do that more. We're finding that we have a team Facebook page, and because we're not a person, it's hard to get into groups if they're private, which a lot of neighborhood specific ones are private. They want to make sure they're not going to spam their page with content. But each member on our team is obviously a part of, one of them is part of a parents group at their school, and I'm a part of this organization in my neighborhood. So if individually we're a part of it, hey, my real estate team is doing XYZ, but we are really trying to get our page into more groups, but that does get kind of tricky on that end, but definitely a good tool to use and something we want to grow in.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Just in regards to, you can't post through a business page. It has to be your individual personal account that you're posting and becoming a part of these groups. So keep that in mind. No, that's a good thing to point out. And then Emily, as far as your marketing materials, what do you have, what else do you have on those materials, whether it's a printed material or the Facebook ads, what sort of content do you include specifically within that? Obviously the location, the date and time, the link to register. Is there anything else that you include that you feel is super important and information you want people to have right away?
Yeah, we always are sharing the phone number that our team uses, our email, all of our contact info is always there. And then we also I just created a really quick Google form, and then I have a QR code for that, where someone can just schedule a free consultation. And I've set it up that our team email gets a notification if someone fills that out. So maybe they're not interested in the workshop, maybe they're an introvert and don't want to come to a group thing, but they still have a real estate need. And so we are making it really easy for them to reach out, just fill out a form asks them very simple questions, and then we can get in contact with them ourselves and follow up that way. But I do like to include that QR code or free consultation link whenever I can on marketing materials for workshops. Yeah.
And then once they register, how often do you reach out to them prior to the event?
Our team does have a lot of drip campaigns set up. So once they register and we get their contact info, they're integrated into everything that we have. But there's no specific, unless it's, someone that I met someone at yoga and they came to a marketing or a workshop. And so I made sure to follow up hey, thank you for coming. It was great seeing you. But outside of that, we don't have any specific. That's also something, we're so new. This is only our fourth one. But we do want, if there is someone new who comes to a workshop the first time, we're trying to set up a dedicated email or kind of a new drip campaign, that before they enter into our just general monthly email series, they're getting something like, hey, it means so much that you came. Thanks for coming. Here's a little bit more about our team, before they're just kind of dumped into our, so sort of a welcome series before, but we want a welcome series dedicated to workshop attendees.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
And the other thing too is that, so prior to the event, like just to send people reminders, like Eventbrite does automatically send out automated messages. I think it's 48 hours, 2 hours, and 10 minutes. That's at least what it does on the in the playbook. So 48 hours, 2 hours, and 10 minutes prior to the event, anyone who signs up through the Eventbrite link will get those automated email reminders, which is really nice. So you don't even have to like create those yourself. But I was just curious if like you followed up with like a phone call or like anything like that, other than like what Eventbrite automatically sends out as just reminders. Hey, you signed up for this event. It's tomorrow night. It's for this time. I just didn't know if like if you followed up like even pre-event, or like, you know, obviously you don't just send like one email or like one ad, like maybe it's a combination, or maybe you do multiple emails. And I know you can schedule emails through command as well. So do you do any like scheduling like those email campaigns to send out like a month before, a week before, like anything like that?
Yeah, we're not doing any other reminders for people who have registered besides what we're not relying on Eventbrite to do that. And we're not doing a ton before the event besides just our general marketing and trying to get more people to register, but also an area to grow in. We're not experts yet, right? Like we're still learning and growing too, and have a lot of room for growth. So that's a really good idea also.
The only big event that we did was the pie event last year, and the night before I texted people, we only had 2 pies left. So it was phenomenal as far as 2 or 3. It wasn't more than 3. We had 2 or 3 pies left, and we really contribute that to reaching out the evening prior to remind everybody that the next day was the pie pickup, because I know some people had a lot of pies left. And Lisa just texted me, so far there's 23 seniors. She just checked with the church, 23 seniors set up for May 2nd.
Oh, nice.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I would say. No, I love the idea. And I think that's something I didn't even mention, was sending a mass text. And, you know, within command, you have your Twilio account. And that's definitely one way that you can mass text to your database through command. Now, it's not your own personal cell phone number, so that's something to keep in mind. Right. I do know of, and I know Peter Gossman uses this. It's called Hit 'em Up. It's a mass texting service that sends through your actual cell phone number. So he uses that for all of his event like reminders and mass texting. So that's also another really great idea to, you know, either it's, you know, sending it to your entire database just as a reminder. You can include the link, you can include the image, you know, maybe it's the same image that you're using on social media. Usually that formats pretty well into an actual text message that you can text out to your database and to your list of contacts. But yeah, it's also, I love what you said, Jay, just sending it the night before and just, you know, it's more timely. It's, hey, this is tomorrow, or maybe you're just reminding the people who already registered. So that's another really great idea, is just send that mass text. Because I think a lot of the times too, people respond better to text messages instead of an email, or, you know, even if it's a phone call, you know, they might not pick up, but they'll see that text message, and it's just a gentle reminder. Hey, it's either sign up for this is next week, or hey, you registered for this, it's tomorrow night, just sending a reminder. So yeah, love that idea. Okay, I'm just going through the playbook again, just making sure I didn't forget anything, but yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much the entire what I wanted to cover today, as far as the playbook goes. But I know next week we're kind of going to dive into a little bit more of like the actual event, the hosting, and the follow-up. But Emily, I love that you're on this. And is there anything else that you wanted to share just in terms of like the actual, like the day of the event, hosting it. I know you kind of mentioned like your relationships with like your sponsors. Like, have you had to, like, how has that been with like reaching out to the sponsors and getting them to contribute and to help sponsor these events?
Yeah, they love it. No one said no so far, which is great. Yeah, we've just been asking, like I said, our go-to lenders, inspectors, appraisers, people who we already are working with, or contractors that we're referring clients to all the time. And they're passionate about this stuff too, right? They're also those like investing nerds or real estate nerds who want to get together and talk about it. And I think our energies are bouncing off of each other, and our clients are getting excited about it. And I think it's giving our clients kind of a fun insight to like, oh, hey, my realtor and my lender are on the same team. And we talk about that a lot at the events, like how important it is for you as a client to have a strong team around you. And most likely, your realtor and whoever we are getting to sponsor is going to be a part of that team. So they kind of feel like they're becoming part of the family. And those clients who are coming every single time, our team is just building better relationships with them. They're bringing their friends. Like, it does feel like, while we haven't gotten maybe like a new listing or, a buyer agency signed from the workshops yet, it really is like value added to the people that we're already serving. And yeah, that's what we're passionate about. And that's like enough for us right now. But would also love if it would turn into, right, a listing or that, but we haven't seen that yet, but I'm hopeful that we will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's great. And I think a lot of people will say that too. It's, if you've worked with someone and have a good relationship with them, they're happy to help and, sponsor, because this is also beneficial to them too. I mean, you're putting them in front of, maybe it's brand new people that they haven't met with yet, or, so that's great.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions for Emily? All right. Any like general questions about the playbook or anything you've read through it or anything that we've spoken about? All right. Well, I know I mentioned quite a few things, whether it's an email campaign or Twilio or setting up a Facebook ad campaign. We've got trainings on all of those things on our YouTube channel. And so I would, if you're interested in like setting up a Facebook ad campaign surrounding your event, I would check out one of those past training videos. It'll walk through just from start to finish how you can set that up. And, it might be a training where I went through and promoted a new listing, but instead of that, you just upload the image of the event, promoting the event, and then the link is just going to be your Eventbrite link or your Bitly link. And that's how you can create that Facebook or Instagram ad campaign in Command and promote that event there. If you've never done an ad, it's great because any of the leads funnel directly into your database. You can automatically tag those leads as they come in. So you can tag them with event, seminar event, or first time home buyer event. And then you can automatically set them up on a smart plan. So maybe it's something that it's just an email saying, hey, thank you for reaching out in regards to the event. Here's some more information. Here's some additional resources. So you could really configure it to be this entire campaign and follow-up plan that you have for those specific leads that you're getting through that ad campaign. So again, training videos will have all of those resources. And if anyone has questions or, comes across any hiccups, reach out to me or Kathleen, and we're happy to help with, getting those set up for you and figuring out whether it's tagging or smart plans or anything like that. All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for hopping on. Thank you, Emily, so much. I feel like you provided a lot of great information, and love to hear that you're having success with these workshops, and can't wait to hear how many listings and buyers you get this year from them.